Is OSU's homecoming really America's greatest? We have huge pomping displays, crazy basketball dunks, and even some pirates.
Pirates? That sounds interesting to me. See for yourself how great OSU's homecoming really is with all that and more on this week's edition of Pete's Corner.
Welcome back to Pete's Corner, your #1 spot to get an inside look on what's happening in Stillwater. I'm Lainey Gerber.
And I'm T. Johnson. This week is homecoming week, and I can practically feel our campus buzzing with anticipation for America's greatest homecoming.
Oh, I know what you mean. With the iconic orange fountain and the creatively designed Greek life decks, OSU's campus is really lighting up. And not only that, the streets are starting to get pretty packed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Of course, OSU is known for being America's greatest homecoming, and we definitely live up to that title. Homecoming usually brings over 70,000 visitors every year. The huge Greek decks are definitely a big draw, but that's not all our homecoming has to offer. Today in the show, we're going to see what really makes Oklahoma State's homecoming the best in the nation. From the Harvest Carnival kickoff all the way up to this year's Sea of Orange parade.
I don't know about you, T, but for me, it's not homecoming until the fountain turns orange.
Oh yeah, for sure. Walking by Edmund Lowe the Monday morning of homecoming week is really what starts to get me in the homecoming spirit.
Well, Noah Southard has the scoop on just how important the fountain dyeing is to the homecoming experience.
Oklahoma State University holds the brightest orange, but it also prides itself on having America's greatest homecoming, and it all begins with the dyeing of the orange fountain.
Just really use it as, a way to get everyone together to start off homecoming, because the more people that are there to start it, the better, cohesion will have between everyone. So like, hey, I saw you orange fountain dyeing, go Pokes, let's do this.
The goal of OSU's homecoming is to unify people from all over the world for one common event.
We're trying to get all of campus there, and with that, we're trying to also get the community of Stillwater and whoever else wants to come, whether it's parents, alumni, kids, anyone that wants to come to these events, we want to get them there.
OSU students feel the homecoming spirit, especially when they see the fountain turning orange.
I think OSU homecoming is important because it really signifies who we are as a university, because we're always advertising ourselves as America's brightest orange. And I think dyeing our fountain in front of Library Lawn orange is it's telling other universities hey, you can't match us, we're the best orange,
The dyeing of the orange fountain is just one piece of homecoming. This water has been going on for 20 years.
I honestly thought it was going to be a dance, but it wasn't a dance. It was a whole event with the whole community of Stillwater, and I thought that was super cool because it brought everyone together in this massive event. And then it had the fountain dyeing, which I thought was cool, and everyone was so school spirited, and that was different to me. It was cool.
This year's homecoming is the 99th homecoming in Oklahoma State's history. The theme for this year is As the World Turns Orange, which is only fitting for this great tradition.
We're actively making the fountain orange by showing we have school spirit literally in every single part of campus. That even our water, we're going to make it orange. We're going all out, everything decorated, because it's America's greatest homecoming to us, and we're going to make sure everyone knows how much we care about homecoming and how much we try to make it great.
For Pete's Corner, I'm Noah Southard.
Thanks, Noah. I love how they make the fountain dyeing such an event. It's not just pouring some dye in the fountain. They set up all the homecoming pomping signs, and Burns and Ann Hargis come out, and even Pistol Pete is there. I just think it really brings out not only the campus together, but the city of Stillwater, because it's something you can bring the whole family to.
Well, funny you mention everything. You actually left something out. This year at the fountain dyeing, they decided to include the coronation of the homecoming king and queen.
I hadn't even heard about that. I just expected them to do it at the football game like usual. Who won?
Well, I'll let Avery Fulton tell you. She has the story.
America's Greatest Homecoming is making a major change this year. Traditionally, the homecoming king and queen wouldn't be announced until the football game on Saturday night. But this year, homecoming week kicked off with a sign competition, the Edmund Lowe fountain dyeing, and the addition of the royalty coronation.
What we discovered is that the king and queen actually don't participate at any event in their official capacity because they're crowned at the football game, and then there's nothing else left for them to do until they come back next year and hand over their crowns.
Since 1966, there have been many homecoming kings and queens, but not many homecoming queens have the added pride of being a Stillwater native.
This makes it that much sweeter just because I've seen the years past homecoming queens and have looked up to them so incredibly much. So it makes it that much more special for me.
Although Henry Cannon and Blakey were crowned as homecoming king and queen, the entire royalty court is present at the week-long schedule of events for homecoming. Part of the Royal Homecoming Court's duties are participating in the week-long events hosted during homecoming week. Those events include the fountain dyeing, the sign competition, the Hester Street painting, and the game on Saturday. Go Pokes! As homecoming king, Cannon has high expectations for this year's celebration.
My vision for homecoming this year is really just a great time where everyone, whether it be alumni, students, faculty, can all come together like every year and enjoy this university.
With the coronation happening at the beginning of homecoming this year, the king and queen can maximize on their cowboy homecoming experiences.
And so now the king and queen are able to attend all of the events with their court throughout the week as the king and queen. They'll all still be at the football game and all be introduced on the field just as usual. We're just crowning them at the beginning of the week as opposed to the end.
As the world turns orange for OSU's 99th homecoming, the royalty court will be there to see it all. For Pete's Corner, I'm Avery Fulton.
Thanks, Avery. I really had no idea what a big part of homecoming the king and queen really are. And now that I see all the events they have to attend, I think it makes so much sense to have them crowned at the fountain dyeing.
No, most definitely. I feel like this way they get to roll all week instead of just at the game.
Well, we've seen what kicks off the homecoming festivities at the beginning of the week, but how did homecoming really get started? We'll find out after this commercial.
What is it about Oklahoma State?
This place is special.
Believe me, I know.
It's my home.
I've spent more of my life at OSU than away from it.
So here's what I can tell you.
There's just something about Oklahoma State.
We've had some pretty remarkable people pass through these walls.
People like Henry Ivan, Ed Gallagher,
Robin Ventura and Barry Sanders.
I could go on and on about our All-Americans
our national champions,
and our Hall of Famers.
You could say the people are what make this place special, and you'd be correct.
but it goes beyond the people.
There's something else about Stillwater that attracts greatness.
Maybe it's the hard work that all of us have put in during our time here to make something of ourselves.
Maybe it's the trials we've endured as a family.
We've been tested in ways that most people cannot understand.
Yet we never waver
in who we are
and what we believe in.
We've proven we can win at the highest level.
But winning isn't the only reason why people choose Oklahoma State.
It's more than that.
Our fans don't just cheer for the Cowboys.
They are the Cowboys.
The culture here is bigger than all of us.
It means something to be a Cowboy.
It's the values OSU stands for.
The values of being loyal and true.
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 Welcome back. Now that we've seen some of the first homecoming events, I want to see how it started.
Well, homecoming actually started at the Harvest Carnival almost 100 years ago.
Wait, there's no way homecoming's been going on for that long. Really?
I know, but it's true. I'll let Logan Mosier tell you more about it.
Homecoming is full of tradition. There's no tradition more lasting than the Harvest Carnival. The first Harvest Carnival took place in 1913, and with it, the beginning of America's greatest homecoming. Over the years, the Harvest Carnival has grown and has benefited the Stillwater community with its canned food drive with their partner, Harvest 2. Harvest Carnival executive Clarissa Ratzliff says that the philanthropic aspect of the Harvest Carnival is what makes it so special.
Harvest Carnival kind of humbles us and makes us realize that although it is so much fun for the students to interact with the alums and different people in the community, it's really cool how it's an event that makes us think about something other than ourselves.
Ratliff works closely with Harvest 2 in order to understand what their needs are and can communicate those needs to the Greek and student organizations.
Not only does the Harvest Carnival help the community with a canned food drive, they also have helpful games like this from the Oklahoma State Environmental Science Club. Is this going in plastic? Okay.
All Greek and student organizations are required to make an educational game for kids. The games can be as simple as a ring toss, but it must relate to the homecoming theme. The games add to the experience for kids and families, especially for one pirate.
It's kind of like fun. It's just fun to play the games, and it's really fun.
The chili cook-off also has become a big part of the Harvest Carnival. Student organizations, residential halls, and Greek houses make their own chili recipe, and members of the community can sample all the different kinds of chili and vote on their favorite. And for freshman Abby Bailey, being a part of the homecoming festivities for Wentz Hall has shown her just how big the OSU community is.
Seeing people walk up to the table and be like, oh, I lived in Wentz when I went to school here. It's really cool, it's just the community aspect.
The legacy of the Harvest Carnival will continue to benefit the community of Stillwater for many more years. For Pete's Corner, I'm Logan Mosier.
I really had no idea that homecoming has been around so long.
I think the tradition it holds and the way the Harvest Carnival brings not just OSU students, but the whole city of Stillwater together is such a cool origin story, and it's just one of those things that makes homecoming here so great.
Oh, I agree completely.
Well, if you liked learning about the Harvest Carnival, you're going to love what we've got next. Seth Fish has the history of OSU Homecoming Parade and how the celebration has evolved over the years to become the big event we have now.
This weekend marks the 99th annual Oklahoma State Homecoming Celebration. Every year, the university, student body, and other organizations put in tons of hours to make each homecoming special. All of their hard work culminates over the weekend when tens of thousands of current and returning Pokes celebrate America's greatest homecoming. Homecoming's humble start came at the turn of the 20th century with the introduction of the Harvest Carnival in 1913.
So at the beginning there was the fall and the spring carnivals that were held on campus, which were mostly just kind of fairs in which there'd be activities for students to participate in. They'd have contests, and there'd be a small parade through town.
The first official homecoming wouldn't happen until the year 1920, when the tradition of house decorations began.
And they put special things around the door, and oftentimes the sororities would put like flowers, along their walkway. But they would literally decorate the house.
The 30s and 40s saw growing attendance, but the real explosion of popularity came at the end of World War II, as float decorations became larger and more elaborate.
The motorized vehicle was required to be hidden. So underneath these floats that were kind of like looking at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade were very, very large. At least I remember them that way, but I was very young at the time.
The floats of the parade diminished in popularity in the late 1960s in favor of increasingly grandiose house decorations.
So the experience years ago was really a lot different than it is today.
From small beginnings to America's greatest homecoming, as Oklahoma State continues to grow, so does the creativity and passion of the Cowboy family. For Pete's Corner, I'm Seth Fish.
Thanks, Seth. I think one of the biggest things here at OSU is how important tradition is, and our homecoming really wouldn't be anything without all that rich history.
Yeah, OSU does such a good job at carrying on the traditions through the years, and it's because the alumni can come back and enjoy the same things they did back in the day, and current students can keep evolving the traditions to be better and better each year.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of bringing alumni back to town, what homecoming event do you think brings in the most people?
It's gotta be the walk around. The decks are the centerpieces of the homecoming celebration,
No, honestly, walk around is probably my favorite part about homecoming. Seeing all the house decks is almost like walking around a giant indoor art museum. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, but it does take a lot of work. We're gonna go to Raquel Dominguez to see just how much work goes into making those decks.
It is time for America's greatest homecoming. A big part of homecoming in Stillwater is pomping that sororities and fraternities do.
Okay, so pomping is a really cool event that happens every year with homecoming. Each sorority and fraternity are paired up with each other, and we are given a theme for each year, and so we have to come up with a design. So the fraternity comes up with the structure. Fraternity's job is basically to build the structure at their house, and it can be moving parts, it can be just solid structure.
They rent big machines and tools to help them complete their final look. They work day in and day out setting up the chicken wire, molding it together to create something big.
Homecoming means family to me because everyone makes this such a big deal. People from all over the country come, and people who went to the school 20 or 30 years ago come, and the tradition is still alive. So it's just a really cool atmosphere, and it's fun to keep the tradition, continue the tradition.
Homecoming is a huge thing that goes on in Stillwater, but pumping is one of the most interesting things in how they get it done so fast.
Oh, okay, so one of the best memories I have is Thursday night before the Friday of homecoming and hoops and Saturday of homecoming. We pull an all-nighter, and I remember freshman year, me and my sorority sisters, we stayed up all night, and we just were so delirious, but it was so worth it because it was so fun.
It is fun to them and so amazing to see the final result. From Pete's Corner, this is Raquel Dominguez.
Thanks, Raquel. It's honestly amazing to see just how much work Greek Life puts into homecoming. They spend all semester working on it, and I really don't think any other school does anything like this.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like the house decks before OSU's homecoming, and I think that's one of those things that just makes homecoming here so special because so many of our students are so involved in making it great.
Oh, most definitely. But students aren't the only ones involved in homecoming. The celebration would be nothing without the alumni. For us, homecoming is about pumping and football and school spirit, but for them, it's a time to come back to their old stomping grounds and celebrate their alma mater. Here, we have roughly 250,000 Alumni Association members, and the donations they make go into helping them put together all of homecoming. Mackenzie went over to the Alumni Association to see just how much work goes into making OSU's homecoming America's greatest.
Homecoming is about more than just the alumni coming home. The alumni are the true cowboys who define loyal and true. OSU students are the heart of what the alumni are coming home to. Pam Davis, the Vice President and Chief Programs Officer, is here to fill us in.
Obviously, to bring back all the alumni home and to host homecoming is a vital role to the Alumni Association. We want everybody to come home and feel like home, but the students play the biggest part in it. And so what will happen is after homecoming week, we have an executive group of 9 students that leads a steering committee that gets all of the work done. I mean, they are the boots on the ground. We just help them and support them and cheer them along, fund them as best we can.
In 2010, the Alumni Association began fundraising for the $3 million Homecoming and Student Programs Endowment. The endowment has changed the way that organizations are able to fund their homecoming events. The Alumni Association is hoping the endowment will fully fund homecoming in the upcoming years. This will provide future generations of cowboys to be able to experience America's greatest homecoming celebration.
We're a membership organization, and so a lot of people may not realize that their membership dollars are going to all of our programming.
Blair Atkinson talked about how alumni feel when they come back to Stillwater and show their friends and family America's greatest homecoming.
It is the most beloved tradition to alumni, and it really, for a lot of reasons, it is kind of the only place that you get to see and feel and experience what it means to be in the Cowboy family. And so I think for alumni, it just your heart and your chest kind of swells with pride to say, this is my alma mater, and this is the place you get to experience and feel what it feels like to be in our family. And I think they just get a lot of pride.
While current students are enjoying the parties and hype of homecoming, the alumni bring a high level of emotion and love to the whole phenomenon. Their history and loyalty shine through everything current students are putting together. The students' time and effort create the atmosphere that keeps the alumni coming home. For Pete's Corner, I'm Mackenzie Kiefer.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Homecoming really wouldn't be anything without all the alumni.
But the alumni were students at one point too, and we shouldn't forget about students now and what makes homecoming so great for them. When we come back, we're going to hear how football isn't the only sport that takes part in homecoming and more.
I'm Jeff Watts, Chief of Police for the City of Stillwater. This year, on October the 18th and 19th, OSU alumni will be hosting Walk Around and the Homecoming Parade. During this time, Stillwater Police Department, Payne County Sheriff's Office, OSU Police Department, Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Stillwater Emergency Management, and Stillwater Fire Department will be teamed up to provide a safe environment for all of our visitors and residents. During this event, you will see a very high concentration of police officers at every intersection. Don't be alarmed, this is simply there for your safety. If you are in a crowd and you happen to see something that you feel should be brought to an officer's attention, don't hesitate to contact the nearest law enforcement officer and bring that to their attention. Throughout the event, there will be comfort stations, there will be first responders. If you need medical assistance, don't hesitate to ask for help. Also, be sure to dress for the weather, bring plenty of water, and we recommend that you leave your pets at home, as these large crowds can oftentimes stress out your animals. We hope that you have a great time and that your experience here is a positive one. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to any of our emergency personnel or first responders. We'll be glad to help you in any way we can. Thank you.
Tired of paying for parking at those other airports? Fly Stillwater Regional Airport. We offer proximity, free parking, and short security lines. Still making long drives to Oklahoma City or Tulsa just for the airport? Stay close to home and fly with Stillwater Regional Airport. Daily non-stop flights to DFW with 800 plus flight connections in 29 countries.
Welcome back to Pete's Corner. Today we're talking about homecoming and what makes OSU's homecoming America's greatest. T, what makes it so great?
Honestly, I really love the football game. I know there's so much more to homecoming, but all the events lead up to the game on Saturday, and I think the way the students here rally around the football team is so cool.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. And speaking of that, one way that students can really rally around football team is at Hester Street painting. We're going to throw it to Sam Page to see how students can get directly involved in the homecoming game on Saturday.
To Oklahoma State University students, OSU has the greatest homecoming celebration in America. From the walk-around to game day, everyone is supporting the football team in any way they can. For those not in Greek life or athletics, Hester Street painting is a great way to support the team off the field. University Spirit Executive Zach Guy is currently gearing up for the event.
Hester Street painting is a thing we do yearly, and on Wednesday from 5 to 7, we basically block off Hester Street in front of the new business building, and we just write encouraging messages to the players as they're going to be walking on their way to the game.
These messages are not just written by students, but also by the community. By providing the paint and the supplies, the event is mainly used to provide unity between the community and the students at OSU.
A lot of our events, we try to base it around getting all of campus there and a lot of the community there from Stillwater. That's just something we feel like if we invite more of the community, then it's more of a whole town event, not just, oh, it's a campus football team event. Like, we're trying to get the whole town involved. We're trying to get people from other towns to come because we believe it's the greatest homecoming.
Homecoming is a campus-wide event that attracts the entire city of Stillwater, along with alumni that have previously graduated. In more ways than one, the university shows up the entire week leading up to the football game on Saturday.
Oklahoma State University, we're very proud to have America's greatest homecoming celebration. It is not just an OSU event, it encompasses all the Stillwater community and brings alumni in from across the globe. So Hester Street painting is just one of the many events like Harvest Carnival, Walk Around, that really brings all of us together. This is a great way to visually show how we're all one family, supporting the football team and obviously each other as well as students and alumni alike.
Hester Street painting is a great way to support the OSU football team by writing a personalized message to let the team know that you're rooting for them. From Pete's Corner, I'm Sam Page.
Thanks, Sam. I think getting students involved in football like that really makes everyone feel a part of the team. So it's not just about the football players, it's about all of us. Okay, Lainey, so you asked me what I think makes homecoming so great. What do you think?
Okay, if I'm being really honest, I really like the football game, but my real favorite part is Bullet. I just love him, and I think he's such an iconic symbol for OSU, and it just gets everyone in the homecoming spirit, you know, especially after that first touchdown.
Oh, most definitely. I think Bullet is so cute. Really, we could probably do a whole show just on the football games and how the traditions help make homecoming what it is.
Well, we don't have a whole lot of show left, but we do have some time for a little more football game talk. Because if one thing wasn't there to hype the crowd, the game would be so boring. The marching band. Our Cowboy marching band keeps the energy and spirit up the whole game. Without them, the game might just be silent. Kenny McGraw is going to show us just how much work the band puts in to make sure OSU's homecoming is as spirited as possible.
Homecoming is only special if you have a great crowd and amazing spirit. And no other band in all the land has spirit quite like the OSU Cowboy Marching Band. The marching band began way back in 1905 consisting of 22 members. Since then, the band now has over 300 members. The Cowboy Marching Band has built one of the best reputations in the country and is considered one of the best collegiate marching bands in the nation. At every home game, the band performs at halftime with a specific theme for the show, from The Greatest Showman to Adele and even Marvel superheroes. Assistant band director Tyler Austin describes how the theme of the show is decided.
So usually we pick all of our shows at the beginning of the season, and we kind of try to pick some stuff that's relevant to the year, and then some things we can program any season, and that's kind of what we're planning for this show with a 1969 tribute. It's the 50th anniversary.
The football team aren't the only ones that have to give their all in the field. The OSU Marching Band have to play with heavy instruments, all while trying to perform, march, and play that instrument at the same time. And as you can hear, they're getting to work right now.
Even with 300 plus in the band, every individual matters when it comes to performing. Anchor of the Polk Report, Johnny Resendez, is a former clarinet player and member of the Cowboy Marching Band. He says the ability to multitask and the heavy workload is second nature to the marching band.
You have to be taught it. You can't really, it's like nothing natural. You have to know when to stop, when to carry through with the note and everything. And sometimes that can take a little bit of air out of you. Sometimes it can be much more of a workout than you really think it is. But overall, that took a really amount of good skill, and it doesn't really get the credit it deserves for how much skill it needs.
Even though the marching band may not have their names on the Jumbotron or have fans don their uniforms, they truly are a vital part of the game and culture here in Stillwater during homecoming. Homecoming would not even come close to the scale it is today, if not for the greatest band in all the land. For Pete's Corner, I'm Kenny McGraw.
Thanks, Kenny. The marching band is really one of those unsung heroes of homecoming.
Definitely. So I know we've been talking about football and how important it is to homecoming, but it's not the only sport that's happening during the week.
Homecoming in Hoops is the event that shoots off the showcase of the upcoming basketball season. Sapphire Cervantes shows us more.
Gundy shirtless, giant fat heads, and lots of cowboy pride can be found at one place, Homecoming in Hoops. But what truly makes Homecoming in Hoops so special has nothing to do with the football game Saturday, because it's Cowboy basketball's time to shine. Homecoming in Hoops is Cowboy fans' first look into basketball season, and the roars of the fans inside of Gallagher-Iba is one thing Cam McGriff will carry with him throughout his life.
My freshman year, I was so nervous going out there, definitely introducing myself to the fans of Stillwater and Oklahoma State. It's pretty surreal, I'm excited to go through my last go-around here.
Friday's homecoming celebration is the fans' chance to get to know the team's personality and relate to them as people instead of just players. Head coach Mike Boynton said he believes events like these are what's really important to his program because it shows how the players act beyond the court.
I want our guys to just be themselves. I want them to show that they can have a good time, they enjoy each other. It's an opportunity for our fans to kind of really engage with our players in a little bit more of a relaxed environment.
This year, the team decided to do things a bit different by adding a dunk contest to Homecoming Hoops, featuring freshmen Marcus Watson, Avery Anderson, Caleb Boone, and senior Cam McGriff.
I think the fans will be satisfied with what they see. I got to stand up for, me, Thomas, and Lindy. That's who I'm kind of representing right now. Those guys really got a lot of energy, I have to say, but we're going to see how it goes.
The Oklahoma State basketball team looks forward to Homecoming in Hoops every year, but this year's is a bit more special. With some of the team's top players graduating after this season, the seniors are using it to cement their legacy. For Pete's Corner, I'm Sapphire Cervantes.
Lainey, this has actually made me really excited for homecoming.
I know. I learned so much about the history of homecoming and how much work students, alumni, and the Stillwater community puts into our annual celebration. So what do you think? Is it really America's greatest?
Well, I think so. Homecoming brings Cowboys from all across the world together.
It combines tradition with modern twists.
And it serves as a bridge between old and young generations alike to experience and enjoy the greatest homecoming in America.
Well, I think we settled it then. OSU's homecoming really is America's greatest.
Yep, so that's it then for this homecoming edition of Pete's Corner. I'm T. Johnson.
And I'm Lainey Gerber. Thanks for watching.